Hello everyone. It is 10th of October and it is World Mental Health Day. So today we are going to discuss about mental health. So although this video is going to be general video, but I'm going to then focus on children and we are going to discuss how we can improve mental health and what factors are there that influence the mental health. So in that list, the number one is your diet. Now, this is really important to understand that our mind and body are interconnected. We cannot, compartmentalize things. That mind is separate, body is separate because they both work together and influence also each other. So whatever we eat, it has significant influence on how we are going to feel. I have already said this in previous videos that food is information for the body. So whatever we eat actually creates our body, and also it also affects how we feel. So if we are eating all the processed and packaged and junk food all the time, it is definitely going to make you feel very lazy, lethargic, and also very low. So this is really important to understand that whenever we give our children food, especially, then we have to think that whether this is a healthy food or it is a junk food, because once they get addicted to the junk food, then it's going to be very difficult to wean them off the junk food. So be mindful about what you are giving to your children, because they can actually be very vulnerable, because their body is still growing, they need nutrition. And another aspect is that nowadays, because of the junk food, the childhood obesity is at the highest, and that itself is a risk factor for lots of diseases, including mental health. So we have to be very very mindful of what we are eating and what we are giving to the children. So if we eat healthy, the children will eat healthy as well. So that's number one. Another point in this is, mental health is also dependent on what we eat, and what we eat also is dependent on our mental health. So it kind of becomes like a vicious cycle. Oh, I'm feeling low, so I'll eat junk now. Because I ate junk, I am feeling low. So you go in that cycle over and over and over again. So you need to be very disciplined and teach the children also the same, because most even adults are not aware of this aspect. So that's the diet part. Now second is movement or exercise. So we all know that we have to move our body, and when we exercise, when we do any sort of movement, especially if it raises our heart rate, then the happy hormones are secreted, and then our mental health will definitely be better. And if we are very sedentary, then that's not going to be good. Unfortunately, even young children are also very sedentary. As I said, the obesity epidemic, which is happening even in children. So that's one of the reason is that they are very sedentary, far more than before. So be very very conscious about this aspect, and make sure that they get minimum at least half an hour of some sort of movement, like in terms of sports or some activities, play, or anything that they enjoy. Little children can benefit from running around even, and be active, and outside, in the garden, playing, and just enjoying it outside, the real play, not just on the laptop or on some gaming console. So that's very very important factor to be active. So you first you also be active yourself, and then ensure that the children are also active. You can enroll them in any of the classes, maybe if they're interested in sports, and then you can enroll them in football, cricket, or basketball, volleyball, whatever that they enjoy, and that will ensure that they are mentally also very very agile. You will definitely see the difference. So that's a thing. Number three point is, during the pandemic, this actually became very very worse, and that is screen. Now screen actually is so detrimental, especially for little children. You know, children younger than 18 months should not be even on the screen, but still I see so many parents simply just giving their phones or something, and the children are on it, and then they get addicted, and then it's very difficult to wean them off. So screen, is also proven, factor to have a negative effect on our mental health, especially on little children whose brains are still developing. There's so many data coming, says that the short form content especially are very very damaging for the children's focus and for attention span and all that. And it actually is way more damaging for little child than anyone else. So that's another aspect, that if you want your children to have good mental health, then limit the screen as much as possible, and any child below 18 months should not be exposed to the screens, or at least minimize it as much as possible. That's very important. Now I'll say another related topic is social media. Social media is known factor again to have negative effect on the mental health. If your children especially, if they are on social media, then the problem is even more damaging, because children, their brain is still developing, and also because they are young, they have not learned the coping mechanism and the understanding about life and people and all that. So they are very vulnerable, and they can be prone to bullying, cyberbullying, harassment, and lots of other dangers online. Body shaming is also included, and these can be so detrimental that many teenagers, adolescents, they commit suicide also because of some online harassment, and the stress and the body shaming and everything. So you have to be again very careful how much you are allowing your children to be on the social media, and watch them, what they are consuming, what they are doing on the screen, especially on the social media. I know this is a bit difficult subject, but still we have to educate the children that this is not the real world, and this is how you have to negotiate. First you have to do it yourself, and then teach the child as well, and limit again the social media as much as possible. Educate your children and make them aware of the dangers and all. And ultimately there is one thing that works really well is bedtime. They should not be on the screen, and their mobile should not be in their bedroom. So bedroom should be mobile free and screen free. That's really important for their mental health and safety as well. So this is another thing. And lastly, spend more time outside the house. Now this problem actually accelerated in pandemic, when we were all cooped up in the house. But even after the pandemic, I've seen a lot of people, they spend a lot of time indoors, and indoor living itself is quite a big threat for health, and also mental health, because when the more time you spend indoors, now all the factors will come together. The more time that you spend indoors, you will eat junk food, and then you will be more sedentary, and then because you will be more sedentary, then you will again have health issues, and you will be on the screen because you are bored, and then you will you will be on the social media. So everything, then it becomes like too much. Just imagine when you go outside, do you get time to scroll the mobile or something? You won't. And even if you do, then the timing will be very very less. So spend more time outside, especially on the weekends, and connect to the nature. That will have very positive effect on your body. There is something called forest bathing. There's a concept, which is very popular in Japan, where people spend a lot of time in the nature, in the forest, and it is known to reduce inflammation. There is a very interesting, study which says, inflammation is also one of the top reasons for mental health problems. So overall health, well-being, and everything needs to be considered, so that we all have better mental health. So, one last point, one more point I'll add is just take care of your gut health, because 90% of neurotransmitters are actually produced and secreted in the gut. So when you take care of your diet, your exercise, your outdoor activities, and physical activity, and staying away from the screen, and all the things, that when you take care, then your gut health becomes better, and then that will have positive impact on your mental health as well. So although these points are nothing new, I think you must have heard this many times before, but please make sure that you follow and that you incorporate and teach your children as well. So that's all for today, and until next time, be mindful, follow this, and happy parenting.